Creator desks have changed a lot over the last few years. What used to be a keyboard and mouse has slowly turned into Stream Decks, audio mixers, multiple monitors, and enough RGB to light a small village. So when Ulanzi reached out to me to ask if I'd like to take a look at their creator control kit, comprised of the D200X creative deck and the D100H style controller, I was very curious to see whether or not these would be legitimate creator tools or just more desk clutter. Quick disclaimer though, before we get started, Ulanzi did send me these devices out to review, but this is not a sponsored video and they have absolutely no input on what I'm about to say. Everything I'm about to say is entirely my own opinion based off of my time using them in part of my actual workflow over the last month or so. Now, I'll be honest, I expected these to be, kind of decent Stream Deck alternatives. What I didn't expect was to come away with two completely different opinions. The D200X impressed me almost immediately. The D100H took considerably longer, and I think that's probably the most interesting part of this video. But before we dive into the specifics, what exactly is the Creator Control Kit? Well, as you may have noticed from the intro, it's made up of two separate devices. The D200X is your macro deck. There are buttons, various profiles, you can make folders, it's got dials, application switching. It's basically the command center for your desk. The D100H is a dedicated dial controller designed for precision work like editing timelines, maybe scrubbing footage, and making micro adjustments. One is built around quick actions, and the other is built around precision control. And after using them both for a few weeks now, I think they complement each other surprisingly well. And one of the first things that really stood out to me about both devices was actually their build quality. For products sitting well below, say, Elgato pricing, they feel genuinely premium. Nothing feels flimsy whatsoever, the buttons are tactile, the displays are bright and responsive, and the D100H was surprisingly weighty, and it's also wireless. They're the sort of products that immediately feel like they do belong on a creator desk. As always though, hardware is only really half the story, and the software can either make or break these sorts of products. Thankfully though, Ulanzi Studio is actually very good. Creating profiles, assigning shortcuts, building those folders, and setting up different workspaces was all surprisingly straightforward. One thing that I actually really appreciated was the built-in tutorials. If you've never owned a macro deck before, they make getting started much easier than simply dropping you into a blank interface. Now, compared to, say, Elgato, the software isn't quite as polished. Some integrations like Spotify or Discord require manually setting up client IDs and API keys instead of just simply installing a plugin. Now, it's not exactly difficult, it's just slightly less beginner-friendly. But once everything was configured though, I found it reliable and very easy to use. And I think one thing that became very apparent to me while using both of these devices is Ulanzi isn't just trying to create a Stream Deck competitor, they're genuinely trying to build an ecosystem around it. There are already integrations with some of their own lighting products, and if you're already using, say, Ulanzi gear, it's nice being able to bring everything together in one place. But more importantly though, I was genuinely very impressed with Ulanzi Studio. It's clean, it's easy to understand, and even after the first couple of hours using it, I felt completely comfortable building all of my profiles, assigning those shortcuts, and setting up my workflows. For the vast majority of creators, I honestly think it does everything that you would need it to. The only time I really started running into limitations was when I tried recreating some of those more advanced workflow automations that I'd built over several years with my Stream Deck. For example, I have a single Stream Deck button that completely rearranges my workspace, moving OBS, Discord, Spotify, and browser windows onto different monitors depending on what I'm doing. Now, the D200X can still move windows around, but currently that action needs to live on its own button rather than being chained together in a multi-action. Another example is my streaming clip button. On my Stream Deck, one press saves the replay buffer, creates a Twitch marker, and generates a Twitch clip all at once. With Ulanzi, those actions again are possible, but currently need to be handled separately. But I do really want to stress that these I would consider power user examples. Most people are never going to necessarily build automations like that in the first place, so for them, I don't think this would really matter. If you're buying your first macro deck, I genuinely think you'll be really happy with this software. There is also one thing I think is worth mentioning too. The D200X gives you audio controls and works really well with OBS, but it doesn't have an equivalent to Elgato Wave's Link software. So if, like me, you want to split Discord, game audio, browser audio, and say music into separate virtual channels, you'll still be managing most of that elsewhere or directly within OBS for your live streams. And again, that is honestly less of a criticism per se and more just a comparison of the two ecosystems. Now, to look more specifically at the actual devices themselves, one of the two devices was most definitely my favorite, and that was the D200X Creative Deck. And yes, it is a macro deck, like we've seen before, but it's actually so much more than that. You've got USB hub functionality, SD card support, it's even got an HDMI port for plugging into another monitor, 3 physical dials, and the larger display that I currently have set up to monitor CPU, GPU, and RAM usage, especially while streaming. It sounds like a bit of a small thing, but having those system stats visible at a glance has actually been really useful. Profiles also can switch automatically depending on what software that I'm using. If I open OBS, I could get stream controls. If I open DaVinci Resolve, and the controls completely change for that editing process. And I think that is where the D200X particularly shines. It reduces friction. Scene changes, recording, replay buffer, audio controls, or just launching applications, everything I use regularly is always just one button away. I also discovered something that I'd completely missed at first. The dedicated page buttons on the D200X aren't actually fixed to just that. You can reprogram them if you want to. On most macro decks and on Stream Decks, you end up wasting one of the larger buttons just navigating between pages. Having dedicated navigation controls always available actually makes the deck feel much quicker to use. Within a couple of hours of setting it all up, I'd already started building workflows around it. It never felt like something I had to force myself to use. The D200X just slotted really naturally into my setup. Now, looking more towards the D100H, it was most definitely a much slower burn for myself personally. And not because I think it is inherently a worse product, I actually think that the hardware especially is excellent. It feels really well built, the dial feels great, the buttons are tactile, Bluetooth has been really reliable, and the battery life has been absolutely bonkers. The reason it took longer to click was because I think I was approaching it the wrong way. When I first set it up, I was trying to replace my keyboard, and honestly, that's not what it was designed to do. A keyboard gives you access to dozens of shortcuts within editing software. The D100H gives you a much smaller number of controls. So instead of trying to make it do everything, I started treating it as its own dedicated tool for one part of my workflow. For me, a prime example would be timeline editing. I've got the dial set up for scrubbing through footage, along with shortcuts for trimming clips, playback, undo, redo. So when I'm rough cutting a video, it works brilliantly. My hand barely has to move, and it makes the first stage of editing feel really fluid. And once I move into things like animations, keyframes, certain graphics, or more advanced edits, I do find myself naturally going back to a keyboard. But for many, I think that's where profiles become super important. Rather than trying to build one profile that does absolutely everything, it makes a lot more sense to have different profiles for different stages of your workflow. Timeline editing, color grading, audio, motion graphics, whatever fits the way that you work. And the more I've used it, the more I've stopped thinking of it as a keyboard replacement. Instead, it's become that dedicated editing tool that speeds up one specific part of my workflow at a time. And I think that's the mindset you need to have if you're considering getting this device. And after using both devices for the last few weeks, I think the thing that I appreciate the most about the Creator Control Kit is it removes little pieces of friction throughout my day as a content creator. Instead of remembering shortcuts and searching through menus or clicking around different windows, the things that I use all the time are just there. And with the automatic profile swapping depending on the program I'm using, the controls change with me. It doesn't necessarily add new functionality, although it can. It just makes the functionality you already use quicker and much easier to access. Now, moving to our next section, taking a look at value specifically, I think this is where Ulanzi has actually done a fantastic job. Throughout this video, I have compared these devices to Elgato, because to be honest, I think that is the comparison that a lot of people are going to make naturally. And yes, Elgato still has a much more mature software and realistically hardware ecosystem. If you're a Stream Deck power user with years of custom automations, you're definitely still going to prefer Elgato. But then you look at the price. The D200X gives you a macro deck, 3 dials, system monitoring, USB hub functionality, SD card support, HDMI support, automatic profiles, and a surprisingly capable software package. Now, if you wanted a similar setup within the Elgato ecosystem, you'd be spending significantly more. I'm talking £250 plus. But at around the £80 mark, I think the D200X offers genuinely excellent value. It's one of those products that feels like it should cost more than it does, but it doesn't. Now, there is one final question that I want you to actually ask yourself. Will these devices actually make me a better creator? Because to be honest, I think the answer should be no, at least not directly. They're not going to make your edits better overnight. They're not going to make you magically improve your live streams. What they can do is remove repetitive tasks and make the tools you already use much quicker to access. That means a lot less time navigating and more time actually creating. And for me, that's where the value really comes from. So after spending the last month or so using both devices, where do I land? Well, the D200X is incredibly easy to recommend. It fitted into my setup almost immediately, and I genuinely use it every day now. It's really well built, packed with features, easy to configure, and for the price, I think it's one of the best value creator tools that I've used in quite a while. Now, the D100H is a little bit different. I don't think it's for everyone. If you're expecting it to replace your keyboard for edits, you'll probably end up disappointed. But once I stopped looking at it that way and started treating it as a dedicated editing controller, it made so much more sense. It's a much more specialized tool, but for the right workflow, I think there is a lot to like. So if I was buying these with my own money today, I'd buy the D200X without hesitation. Whereas the D100H is a much more specialized tool, and unless you're spending lots and lots of time editing, I don't imagine the average creator would get a ton of use out of it. Now, overall, I think Ulanzi have actually put together a genuinely impressive creator ecosystem. They're not trying to say be Elgato at everything. Instead, they are offering a huge amount of functionality at a much more accessible price point. And honestly, I think that is by far what has impressed me the most. If you have any questions about either device, feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll do my absolute best to get back to you as soon as I can. If you did enjoy this video, consider dropping a like and subscribing for more creator tech, gaming hardware, and just long-form reviews in general. And make sure to ding that bell so you don't miss out on the next one. And as always, thank you again to Ulanzi for sending out these devices for me to take a look at, and thank you to you at home for watching. Take care out there, and much love.